Hi everyone. Welcome to the first video in my income tax series. My name is Gaurav Lohia and I'm a chartered accountant. This is an introduction class to the income tax. In further videos, we will deep dive into the more complex provisions of the income tax. And believe you me, by the end of this series, you will feel income tax is one of the easiest subjects to score in for CA Inter. In today's video, we will discuss what is tax and why the hell do we pay taxes, right? What are the types of taxes and who has the power to levy taxes? So let's get started. So the first question is, what is tax? Well, as per the Article 366, Clause 28 of the Constitution of India, taxation includes the imposition of any tax or impost, whether general or local or special, and tax shall be construed accordingly. Now, there is nowhere in any law which specifically defines what tax is. So we have to draw a general interpretation of what tax means. So any amount or any thing which is charged by the government, which is imposed by the government on anyone, is called as tax, right? Now, at you can also understand tax to be something which is compulsory payment to a government, right? It is also something which is a cost of living in a society, right? The institute, the ICAI also defines tax as to be the cost of living in a society. Now, uh, some of the basic features of tax is that you can't negotiate it. So one of the features of the tax is you cannot negotiate it. The amount is always certain. You cannot negotiate it. You cannot bargain it. Second, so another one is you cannot refuse it, right? The tax. So the two main components of taxes, you cannot negotiate it, you cannot refuse it, and the third one is you cannot delay it. And the third one is you cannot delay taxes, right? So what all have we learned in taxes? What is taxes? So, so what is tax? It's a compulsory payment to the government. It is a cost of living in the society, and one cannot negotiate taxes, one cannot refuse taxes, and one cannot delay taxes. Right. So moving on. Moving on. The next question arises is, why do we pay taxes? Right? So the next question arises is, why do we pay taxes? So we pay taxes so that the government can make the expenditure and provide some common services to the people living in a country, right? So taxes constitute the basic revenue which a government earns, any government earns. So for example, a government would charge taxes and then make the amount collected from taxes is expended on services towards, say, infrastructure, defense, education, healthcare, you know, all sorts of services which a government provides to its citizens or residents in a country are incurred through taxes. So, what do we understand? Taxes is the basic revenue source to the government. Basic revenue source to the government, and to meet the common welfare expenditure to the society. Common welfare expense of the society. Example of expenses could be infrastructure, defense, education. Healthcare, etc. Right? So, this is the main reason we pay taxes, be it any kind of taxes. So, moving on. So, the next question is, what are the different types of taxes, right? So, right. So, there are two different types of taxes anywhere in the world. It is not just in India. Anywhere in the world, taxes are mainly of two types. One is the direct tax, and the second one is the indirect tax. So, what does they mean? So, direct tax is a tax that is levied directly on the income or wealth of a person. Then, a tax which is levied directly on the income or wealth of a person. So, the person who is paying the tax is also the person who is bearing the burden of the tax. Further, we will understand exactly, you will understand what does that mean, bearing the burden of the tax and the payment of the tax. Once we discuss the indirect taxes, so I'll give you an example of direct tax. A direct tax could be an income tax, your wealth tax, your professional taxes. These are the types of taxes which are direct tax in nature, where the payer, the taxes are levied directly on the income of the person. Second, the burden of the tax is always on the payer of the tax. Second is the indirect taxes. What is indirect taxes? See, indirect taxes are taxes which are usually levied on any goods or services. Whenever a goods or services is getting transferred, that the taxes levied at this stage are called as indirect taxes. In indirect taxes, generally, the payer of the tax is different from the person on whom the burden of the tax is. So, for example, in cases of indirect taxes, the burden of the tax is transferred onto the ultimate consumer of the goods or services. The examples of indirect taxes are goods and service tax, or your entertainment tax, or your customs duty. So, in these kind of cases, the burden of the tax is shifted onto the final consumer of the tax. However, the payer of the tax remains the person making the sale. Right? So, I hope now it is clear what are indirect taxes and how the payer and the burden of the tax is on the same person with the examples, and what is indirect taxes and how the payer is different from the person on whom the burden of the tax is, right? So, things for you to remember easily is the examples of direct taxes and indirect taxes. I know in India we do not have wealth tax as of now, but don't think of this from an Indian perspective. Think of it as a global perspective, right? Right now we are only discussing about taxes, not about Indian income taxes, right? So finally, moving on to our last topic for the day is who can levy taxes? I think the first question before answering who can levy taxes, people would have it, what is levy? To understand simply, levy means to charge, right? To charge. Say, for example, you uh, go to a movie theater, they charge you ticket prices to watch a movie. You could also say that they levy they levy a certain fees for you to charge, for you to see a movie, right? Any amount which you are paying to obtain certain services can also be called as levy. But generally, levy is something which is compulsory in nature. Anyway, moving on. Who can levy the taxes? Now, we all know that the government levies taxes, be it the central government or the state government, they levy taxes. But what gives them the power to levy taxes, right? So, first we need to understand that Article 265, Article 265 of the Constitution of India says that no tax shall be levied or collected except by the authority of law. What does that mean is Article 265 of the Constitution of India is saying that nobody, be it central government, state government, or any local authority, or any body, whether law or outside the law, cannot collect any taxes unless a law specifies it, right? So accordingly, now for the government to collect taxes, first there should be a law which enables them to collect the taxes. Further, as per the Constitution of India, Article 246, seventh schedule. So seventh schedule of Article 246 gives out three lists. Remember this. This could be an MCQ question. This is very important. Even if it is not a question, you have to remember this till the day you die. So So, seventh schedule of the Article 246 of the Constitution of India contains three very, very important lists. What are these lists? First, let us name those lists. Very important. Union list, state list, concurrent list. What are those lists? What are these lists? Right? And why are they important? Now, these lists, these lists contains the topics on which each authority can make laws about. Union list, the first list, union list contains all the matters on which central government can make a law. Right? Union list contains all the matters on which the central government or the parliament can make laws about. right? Second is the state list. You can guess that the matters contained in state list are the matters on which a state legislature or a state government can make the laws about. And the third one is concurrent list. Concurrent list is the list on which the matters contained in concurrent list are the matters on which both central government and the state government or the parliament or the state assembly can make the laws about. Right? This is very, very important to remember. This is not only in terms of taxes, in terms of any law in India, any matter contained in union list, the sole authority to make laws about that is the central government. Any matters contained in the state list, the sole authority to make laws about that is the state assembly. And any matter contained in concurrent list, both state and center has got the power to make the laws about it. Right? Now, what about income taxes? Income tax is 82, entry 82 in the union list. So entry number 82 gives the power to the central government or the parliament to make laws about income taxes. So that is why income taxes in India is a central government tax. It's not a state government tax. Only the central government can charge us income taxes, right? So this is how, or this is what gives the government the power to collect taxes. Now we will further, the whole of income tax law, if you see, has to be bound by the articles of the Constitution, right? It cannot go outside that. So first, you have to understand, for any law to be made, first, the Constitution should give the power to the government to make the law. Then the government should make the law within the Constitution, and that law will further give the power to collect any taxes, right? So let's just quickly revise what we have gone through. 4 things we have covered today. What is taxes? Taxes is a compulsory payment to the government. It can be understood as a cost of living in a society. Taxes can't be negotiated. We cannot refuse it, and we cannot delay it. The next question was, why do we pay taxes? We pay taxes because it is a basic revenue for the government to make any expenditure in terms of infra, education, healthcare, defense, etc. The third thing what we saw is, what are the types of taxes? There are 2 types of taxes mainly, direct taxes and indirect taxes. Direct taxes are taxes where the payer and the person on whom the burden of tax is the same. For example, income tax, professional tax, wealth tax. Second is the indirect taxes, wherein the payer and the person on whom the burden of the taxes are different. The burden of the tax is usually shifted onto the final consumer of the goods or services. An example of this could be goods and service tax, customs duty, or entertainment tax, etc. Finally, we saw who can levy taxes. So as per the Article 246, 7th schedule, before that, 265, Article 265 of the Constitution of India says that no tax can be levied unless a law has been formed, unless by the authority of the law, unless a law has been formed to charge such a tax. And further, to 7th schedule to Article 246 gives the power through union list to the government of India, that is the central government, to charge taxes, income taxes specifically, right? So in the next video, we will further look at income tax law. We will go more of into the understanding of how the income tax law is structured, right? Thank you for watching. Please do comment down below if you want me to make some changes or bringing some more practical examples. Well, right now we are not dealing with any something which I could bring practical examples into, but still I'll try. If there is something you would make me better, if you want me to make something better, you can definitely let me know. I will try to post classes every alternate day from now. The plan is to post 3 videos in a week, and this is going to be a complete full-fledged series of income tax for intermediate course. Final students can definitely watch my videos to understand the basics, but it is more of concentrated towards inter students as of now. And this is with the plan of doing it for May 26 batch. Once the new syllabus is out, I will also do it for the next coming up batches with the new law. Right? Thank you for watching. Please do like if you did like, comment if you didn't like, so that I can improve and we both can grow together. Right? Thank you for watching. Do tune in for the next video. Thank you.